Hi, guys. My name is Candy. I have two boys. One is on the spectrum with ADHD, and one just has severe ADHD. We were a participant in the study, and we used it not only on my son, who is on the spectrum, but my whole family, including my dog. So, and I have proof. I have a cute picture of my dog with his front two paws in the bath. Anyways, my son, who is on the spectrum, I can classify his gains in terms of reduced anxiety. And for him, anxiety looks like not sleeping well. So he would get up first thing in the morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning, talking like from 0 to 90 miles an hour like that. Now he's sleeping in through a normal, I have to wake him up to get him into school on time. So that is a huge gain because no one likes to be woke up at 4 in the morning. And then also anxiety manifests itself just as overly excited, exaggerated reaction to disappointment. You know, it can range anywhere from just an inappropriate response to a full-on tantrum, and those have pretty much, it's gone. He can become disappointed. In fact, we challenge him a lot. No, I'm sorry, Cole, you can't have that, whatever it is that you want right now, just to test the waters, and he is just much more calm in his reactions. So his ATEC, we did not see an improvement the first 2 months, but then it went down significantly. He started at a 30, and he's now at a 5. He's in school. He has no supports at all. He has no IEP. He has friends. There's still some things that we're still working on. He is 11, but he is has the neurotypical social skills of maybe an 8 or 9-year-old. So there's still some improvements, but I mean, what the hell? He's in school with no IEP. I'm feeling really blessed. And I also just want to mention, I would highly recommend it. You get it and use it for your whole family. My husband has had borderline high blood pressure for years, and he is a good diet. He exercises. He's very fit, but still like 145 over whatever. And after 1 month of using the foot bath every other day, his blood pressure is totally normal and has been normal for the last 4 months. So, thank you. For my husband, he got his improvements after 1 month, but he's been using it. We started using it January 1st of this year, and we're still using it, and we're never going to stop.
Hi, I'm Michele with Team TMR, and my daughter has the blonde curly hair that you saw a minute ago. She's 4 years old. She was diagnosed at 27 months. Her ATEC has started at 113, went up to 120, down to, I think, 108, and then we started leucovorin, and it went down to 87. It stayed at 87 for almost a year. And we were banging our heads against the wall. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? We didn't want to do anything. We haven't gotten to the point where we're comfortable with things like chelation or any of those other protocols. We just haven't, our guts haven't told us to go that way. But she started the study on January 1st, like everyone else. She actually had the highest ATEC among all the kids. And within the first month, she went from 87 to 46, and then ultimately her final score was 36. So, and she's continuing to experience progress and improvement. So that was almost 60% ATEC drop, which was huge. The biggest thing we saw immediately was that this girl who would kick, punch, bite, scream, scratch, just an extremely violent girl, as cute as she is. She's a hellraiser. Her aggression just decreased dramatically. One of the issues that she's always had, and we've confirmed this in lab testing, is that people have said, try GABA. GABA's the thing. Try that. I would give her GABA, and she would lose her shiz. And we figured out, because of her CBS, COMT, BHMT mutations, that her GABA glutamate pathway was just impaired. And we've tested cerebral spinal fluid, we've tested blood and urinary organic acids, and her glutamic acid was always just through the roof, and she would literally not have any GABA whatsoever. She wasn't converting glutamate to GABA. So she just couldn't calm down, and glutamic acid is an excitotoxin, so she was just constantly aggressive and like, so anyways. We retested her GABA and glutamates as part of a protocol from a geneticist, I think. And once she started the study, I think this was about 2 months in, she finally had GABA for the first time. She had normal glutamate levels for the first time. So it's not just about what you can see on the ATEC. I can prove through lab testing that this thing works. She's potty trained during the day, which is huge, and it took 2 weeks. We started potty training her, and we've tried off and on for 2 years, but 2 weeks she was done. She recognizes, she's got much more empathy. She's got an interest in her brother, an appropriate interest where it's not like they're wanting to just choke each other constantly. And he's 2, so he just wants to choke everybody. It's fun. So anyways, I just want to share with you that I am completely comfortable with this and was really excited about starting it because you're not putting anything into her body where you're having to require like taking her off, withdrawing her from something or waiting for it to come out or whatever. No injections, no supplements that I have to tackle her down and syringe into her mouth. So I figured it couldn't hurt and it could only help, and it did. It helped tremendously for her. So I encourage you to get it.
Y'all are so tall. My name is Joy. We've done pretty much every protocol out there. And my son is like Tyler's son. He would initially respond very well, sometimes for longer than others, and he would plateau, and then he wouldn't be doing so well. Sometimes it was a distinct crash, sometimes it was a slight decline that it took me a while to notice. So we've moved between a lot of protocols, and when she first talked to me about the foot baths, I was like, that's just kind of out there. Remember? I was like, I don't know if I can do that.
I think the words were hell no.
But we did it, and they can now pry the thing out of my cold, dead hands. He's still very low verbal, but he's starting to spell things that he can't articulate. He'll come up to me and he'll go, Mommy, D-R-A-G-O-N, dragon. And he can't say it, but he's spelling it for me, and I videoed it, and they've all seen it. And the first time he did it, I was like, what is he doing? And I got him a marker, and he wrote it. His fine motor skills, he's colored in the lines. For the first time in his life, he colored in the lines at OT one day, and I posted it, and I think everybody burst into tears. Because he's 10 years old, and he finally colored in the lines. So fine motor skills of all things have improved. I'm going to cry. His social existence has just blossomed. 2 weeks ago, he went to his very first school dance. And he was so excited about it that when we dropped him off, he like ran into the room waving over his shoulder. He didn't even want us there. And we came back, and his teacher flashed me 2 thumbs up, and I was like, oh my God. He went to his first school dance, what I never thought he would get to do. And he went on field trips. My own health has improved significantly. There's just no 2 ways about it. I was very unhealthy. I only have 1 kidney, born that way, and it was really backed up. So I've been cleansing right along with him, and I walked a 5K a month ago. I couldn't be in the sunshine for more than half an hour last summer. And one of the things I did for Glenn about a month and a half ago is I wrote down how much I've spent. I am $275,000 out of pocket on treatments for Dominic in the last 7 years. And I think if I had started with this, I would have saved $200,000 in 6 years. So.
Hi, my name is Terry, and my son Matthew is 11 and a half, and we've been doing biomed for a really solid 7 years, and made drastic improvements from the little boy he was, but we had really plateaued. And so I went into the study extremely optimistic, but really not knowing what to expect. And I got the unit just after Christmas and couldn't wait until January 1st. So we opened that up, and my son had gotten one of, never can remember the name, but it's this plastic puzzle ball. And there's like a little BB in there, and you have to rotate it, like three perplexes, thank you. And he was just like, I am over that. And that's just too much focus, too much attention. I don't want anything to do with that. He actually gave it to his little sister, who's 2 years younger than him. So the first cleanse, I cleanse him. We switch everything out, go to cleanse my daughter. I turn, he has joined us at the dining room table with the Perplexus. And he's sitting there just calmly doing the whole little maze. And I look at my husband and I'm like, seriously? Cleanse number 1. And from there, we just saw more initiation. He would play with his little sister when asked sometimes, but initiation was never what he was interested in. And we get into the car on day 2, and he goes, hey, Emma, do you want to play I Spy? And again, I'm looking at my husband going, okay, this is not coincidence. Like, this is a kid who doesn't initiate. He's also got really high social anxiety. He's now a child that if we're in an event or whatever, he can go and wander away from mom and not be my shadow and feel confident to go out and explore and make contact with other children and initiate that interaction. Another thing, like some of the other ladies, fine motor. I noticed one day, holy cow, his handwriting is awesome. And literally later that day, I'm checking Facebook in the group and somebody says, am I crazy or did I just see my child's handwriting get better? I was like, no way, I just noticed the same thing, like handwriting from a foot bath. So we had all of our testing done this year. Every 3 years in our state, we have to do all of the testing. And really kind of where he was he was getting OT, and we have an IEP and things like that. And the OT sat down with him and did the full eval. And she was asking him about his handwriting and watching what he was doing and saying, oh, wow, your handwriting is really nice. He goes, oh, yeah, that's from the IonCleanse. So then I get up and sit down, and she goes, now, he said something interesting. He said that his handwriting got better from the oh, yeah. And you have to fill them out a little bit because you're like, are you going to think I'm a crazy person, or are you kind of open to that? And so we had this whole discussion about fine motor and OT, and she goes, I'm going to do all the tabulations, but I don't think I'm going to find enough to even continue his services. Yeah, no OT. So, this has been incredible for us in terms of his focus, his social interaction, and as far as his score, he started the trial at a 25, and he's down to a 3. And we've been using it for our whole family, and I swear my gray hairs are turning back to their normal color. Hello. Turning my gray hair back? So, like the others, I'm like, I wish I had found this machine 20 years ago for me, but, from day one for my child. Seriously, we have not been on methyl B12 in over a month. We've been on methyl B12 since day 1 of biomed. Our very first Dan doctor back at that time, methyl B12 was the first intervention that we started. And just for grins, I decided I'm going to start kind of weaning back because I really think it's making the supplementation more effective. And I started removing some of the supplements and just seeing what happens. We have not been on methyl B12 in over a month, and that's unheard of. So I can't say enough good about IonCleanse. I love it. So.
We still have a few minutes, 13 minutes.
All right, I'm going to just stand on my tippy toes.
You can take it off, too.
No, I'm good. I think it's okay like that. I'm Helen Conray. I'm with Thinking Moms Revolution. We started the IonCleanse. It was interesting. My daughter, who is completely neurotypical, had an autoimmune reaction, and Tyler said, I have this machine. I'm going to send it to you. And I said, okay, fine. And this machine showed up in the mail, and I was like, I don't know what it's going to do, but stick your feet in it. And immediately it turned bright orange. And she had, and I'm reading a little chart that comes with the IonCleanse, and it says, joint meridians is orange. And it was interesting because all of her joints were completely swollen. So I was like, wow. And then we took her to the kidney doctor that was following her for her autoimmune reaction, and she said, I've never seen a child normalize and recover so quickly from this. I didn't tell her what we did because she was very mainstream, and that makes me nervous. but I put my son in it, Harry, my son with autism, I put him in it, and I knew we were going to start this study, but I put him in it, and I just said, let's see what happens, and he sat in it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you were going to sit there for the whole time without me holding you, which was really interesting, because I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to hold an iPad, because he might throw it in the water, and he, how am I going to keep his feet in there? And that was a really big concern for me, because he wasn't going to sit there, except that he did. And then I said, well, you know what? I tried it. I'm going to wait. We were, 2 weeks out from the study. So I said, all right, I did it once. I'll wait for the study to start before I start him again. And he brought me the foot bath the next day. And he's like, and he's putting his feet, and there's no water in there. He's like, do the foot bath. And I was like, I guess you like this. So I guess we're going to just start now and keep going. So it was really interesting, his positive response. I mean, if he doesn't want to do something, he definitely lets you know. But this was something that obviously made him feel good. When we started the study, a few weeks in, we had pee training for a long time. He was pee trained, but he could not poop on the potty, and he would not. 2 weeks, 3 weeks in, he walked over to the bathroom, pooped, and wiped himself, and walked out, and we were like, what just happened? and he has not pooped anywhere but the potty since then. So for us right there, we were like, okay, we're done. Like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Like, that was life-changing, because I think I shared in one of our other talks this week, he used to, poop and then take it off and then wipe his butt on my pillows and comforters. So we're very happy. We have new sheets, and and they have not been soiled. But I mean, we did see a lot of other improvements. We saw a lot of cognitive thinking, where he uses Chewy tubes on and off, and he had dropped one in the dirt, and normally it would have just stayed out in the yard, and that would have been it. But he picked it up and looked at it, and then he walked in the house, and brought a chair over to the kitchen sink, turned it on, and washed the thing. And we were like, what did you just, you can do that? Can you, pick up your clothes from the floor and wash your own dishes? Like, what? So it was really interesting. We saw a lot of little gains like that you couldn't measure on an ATEC. None of that was on the ATEC. The pooping was, but the rest of it, we couldn't correlate them to the ATEC, but they were real. I mean, we had his occupational therapist said, look, I drew a picture of a man, and he just copied every single body part without me prompting. She's like, I didn't know he could do that. And we were like, well, we didn't know that either. So it's been a really interesting process for us of just discovering all these things that were there. We just needed to bring the toxins down to pull them out. So I would say I'm a huge fan. I have clean sheets, and all is well in my world.
To adjust. Hi, I'm Sadie. I'm with Team TMR, and my son Kale was one of the older participants in the study. He'll be 12 in 2 weeks, and our journey has been long. We've been on this journey for 10 years. We've done a lot of work with him. He's what we call a tough nut, and he's also what we call non-responder. So he doesn't respond like, oh my God, we got there. We got this. We're there. We don't get those kind of results with a lot of the protocols and a lot of the work that we've done. We did biomed for many, many years with very little movement. We moved on to homotoxicology. That rocked our world. He did well with that, but our ATEC was still stuck in the 60s. So we were at a 62 when we started, and he stayed the same the first month, and I was like, here we go again. He's going to be the non-responder of the group. And then he went up 3 points. We had some behaviors come back during that first couple months, but then he dropped significantly the third month, and I freaked out and was screaming it to everybody. And then the fourth month, we were down to a 34. So my 11-year-old, who's a non-responder and a tough nut, dropped 28 points with a foot bath. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I'm still not over it. I'm still in shock. He's still doing phenomenal. I had to write down some of the things that he's made progress on that weren't on the ATEC that have been huge for us. Handwriting being one of them. He could hardly even form a letter of the alphabet. We couldn't get A to Z, even in tracing back in December. And I homeschool him, so I have a pretty good gauge on where he's at academically, fine motor ability-wise. And by the end of the third month, we were he was copying a sentence from a model. So I could write out a sentence, a 10-word sentence, and he can copy it out on his own with a period at the end. YouTube. We've been battling YouTube addiction. He's an 11-year-old boy. They like YouTube. Since September, I took his iPad away. He just then went on my big desktop because it's a big touch screen that's like a gargantuan iPad. And I was like, oh, okay, smarty. Then he went to the iPhone. As of the Friday before Easter, so like say April 1st, April 2nd, he's completely off YouTube. He took himself off of YouTube from a foot bath. So we don't have that addiction anymore, which then means since he doesn't have a space in the YouTube, in the iPhone or on the computer, he's more with our family. He's more connected overall. He's more calm. We're playing board games. He's playing with his brother. His receptive language has increased also. And there was one more. Speech. Hello. My son is still very limited verbally. He has apraxia, severe apraxia. So a lot of things that we do don't touch speech, but he is imitating more, and he is starting to answer questions. And that's come in this 4 to 4.5 month period of using the IonCleanse. I can say, Kale, are you okay? Yeah. Kale, what do you want to do? Get food. We got 2 words together. So for us, that's huge at this age. So I wanted to just make sure that I put some emphasis on the fact that my kid is older. Because as a parent of an older kid on the spectrum, I look at other parents who have older kids, what's working for them, because that's really important. And I wanted to make sure that I really got the chance to say that, yes, my kid was older and he did finally respond with the foot baths. Thank you.
Not as tall as Sadie. Hi, I'm Laurie with Team TMR, and I first discovered the IonCleanse foot baths when we were at the National Autism Association conference in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I had the pleasure of meeting Tyler, and I also Neil and Glenn, and I heard Tyler's story, and it really moved me. And we had my boys. I have a 10-year-old Mark and an 8-year-old Ryan, and Ryan is more compromised, and he's been my mission to recover. We did the foot baths. We were great to be in the study. And Ryan absolutely loved the foot baths. Same thing. He would ask for it with the boys. It was every other day. And they were, oh no, it was my turn. No, it's my turn. No, I want to do the foot bath. So it was like so exciting to see their eagerness to want to do the foot bath. And with Ryan, his speech has exploded. He's talking in full sentences. His writing is amazing. He's writing in full sentences. I would sit down with him during the foot bath, do his homework assignments with him. He knows how to add, subtract, and multiply. I was showing the sheets to our occupational therapist, and she's blown away. She's going, oh my gosh, look at his handwriting. Look at this. And we have known her, our occupational therapist, since December of 2007. So she's been on this journey with us, not only with Mark, who thankfully has mainstreamed since kindergarten. It's interesting because Mark, if you look at him, he's very neurotypical. He was a 5 when we started this study, and he was a 1 ATEC at the end. Ryan was 18 when we started our study, and we finished at a 15. So, but again, everything on that ATEC is, you just cannot compare what's happening. We're getting 2-way conversations. You know, we come home and he'll say things like, did you want to watch the news, or are you going to watch the news? And just really cute little things. He's been so affectionate. I mean, he's always snuggly, but more affectionate than normal. Mark just had a birthday. He sang whole happy birthday, I love you, Mark, hugged him and kissed him, patting him in the car, and just little things like this. The teachers are seeing all the differences with him. They're like, what are you doing? So I have the brochures. I'm trying to educate my teachers, my community on this wonderful device, because everyone needs to know about this. It's been the safest way to detox, and it's just amazing when you see the water and you see the black flecks, and you're like, wow. And Mark Mark's baths were actually worse than Ryan's. And we're kind of nerdy, so like when we first got it, Jim was out there in the front yard. I think you took a picture of that he was like really studying it with a microscope. And I mean, we're just like, I just am fascinated by them. Every time we get a foot bath, I'm like studying the water, and I was writing down all these long notes about them for you guys. But I just can't say enough about it, and I just think it's a perfect thing for your child, not only on the spectrum, but the whole family, because we're all compromised. We all have toxins, and we need to get them out to stay healthy. But this has just been so beneficial in so many ways. I can't say enough about it, so I'm happy. Thanks.